What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. Today we have a topic for you that I think is going to be useful to a lot of people in franchise mode, and that is how to draft for the CPU within a franchise mode. Essentially a fix. I'm not giving you draft strategy per se. What I'm doing is I am giving you ways that you can get onto the CPU teams without them auto picking players, and you can actually make draft selections for other teams within your Madden franchise files. Now, the first thing that you guys want to understand is there has been, for a long time, a method to do this. And you need to be able to, if you want to be as safe as possible with it, you want to hop on the team that you're trying to draft for ahead of their draft pick. If you try to hop on while it is their draft pick, in the past, you would not be able to pick for that team. It would auto make a selection for you, or it wouldn't give you the option to select a player for that team whatsoever. You wouldn't get this make your selection option or your trade away your pick option. However, we're specifically talking about today how to jump on a team whose pick it is. They are up to draft. We can jump on that team successfully without it being an issue, and we can pick for that team. So you guys can see I'm on the New York Giants here today. I'm going to go ahead and make my selection. I'm going to pick a player, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on the 49ers. So the 49ers are on the clock, and we're going to use the retirement method. Now stick around because there are some intricate details here that you have to know in order to be able to do this properly. So we're going to use the retirement method, go to user management, retire, and then we're going to create the coach for the 49ers. And that's going to allow us to be able to pick for them, but there are a couple issues here that we have to keep in mind. So we now start playing as the 49ers. Now, what would happen most of the time if you tried to do this in your own files is it probably auto picks for you right there and automatically skips to the Chargers pick. But we've done a couple of things that allow us to effectively jump on this team without it being an issue. But one of the things that I want to note is, let's say you do this, and then you go to hit make a selection, and for whatever reason, when you go to pick a player, it doesn't actually give you the option to draft a player. It's locked like this. Well, the first tip that I have to give you before we get into the super details on this is, once you switch onto this team, you need to back out of the franchise file and then jump back into the franchise file, and it will then register that you're on that team and able to make that draft selection or make that trade for the team. So now I can go back to selection and I can click on a player, and it does actually give me the option to draft that player. So that's a key detail right there. Now, how do we actually do this? Rule number one, and this is the most important rule for doing this, is you cannot be the owner of the franchise file. You cannot jump teams as the owner of the franchise file, or it will automatically make the selection for you every single time. I've tested this a whole bunch of times now, and the only way to get this to work is you have to be on an alternate account. You have to be a person that is not the owner of the league in order to be able to jump from team to team like this. And so what I did here was I started this file as my NM54 Gold Ops account, and I was trying to do it with just my thing, just me in the file, and it did not work every single time the pick advanced. Then I added my secondary account here, and then I jumped through some picks, and it was still giving me issues. And so you have to have more than one person in the file. You can't be the only person in the file, and the person doing this, jumping onto these teams and making these selections, cannot be the owner of the file. Now, the other intricate thing here is, whenever I did this and I made my alternate account the owner of the file, and then I became just a regular participant in the league, what ended up happening was it was still giving me the issue where it was auto picking for my team. So you might experience that issue. Well, what I had to do was I had to completely exit both accounts out of the franchise file and exit off of my PlayStation. Now, I don't know how far you have to go, but I restarted my PlayStation completely, and then I came back into the file, and at that point it seems to have registered perfectly that I am no longer the owner of the league, and therefore I have no issues jumping onto these teams and making the picks for them. So let me run through this one more time. It's super quick, super easy, but a really effective fix to be able to jump on a team and make the pick live for that team. So you have to be an alternate person in the file. You cannot be the owner of the franchise file. You have to let it register that you are no longer the owner of the file, or you have to make sure that it is somebody that is not the owner of the file doing this. I suggest making an alternate account, like I have an alternate account. And then whenever you actually jump onto the team, you have to jump out of the franchise file once you have gotten onto the team you're trying to pick for, and then go back into the file to be able to make that pick. This is a huge step in the right direction for those of us that want a realistic franchise file and be able to successfully pick for CPU teams, because we all have experienced it from time to time. You see the CPU team make a draft selection that makes no sense whatsoever, and I'm sure you guys have tried to have an alternate account or take your first account and jump onto those CPU teams and make the right pick for them so that those types of things don't happen. Well, we always experience these problems where it auto picks or you're not able to make the pick for that team, whatever it might be, and that creates a ton of problems, And so now we actually have a way where you can jump onto a team's pick live, make that selection for them, and you can keep doing this the whole way through. So I'm on the 49ers right now. I can go ahead and make this pick one more time. We'll go ahead and advance to the next draft selection, and I'll jump onto the Chargers, and I'll be able to make their selection for them as well. So again, retirement method, create a new character, we'll jump over to the Chargers, and we'll be able to make their pick for them. This is crucial, and this is crucial for, like the RFL, for example, the way that they do their draft. There are so many CPU-controlled teams, and, we're not trying to screw over the CPU teams. Nobody's trying to screw over the CPU teams in a league like that. You want to make sure that they get the right players, and you can't do that if it's going to auto-pick for those teams. And so as you guys can see, I just successfully jumped over to the Chargers. Again, when I go to hit pick your player, it's not actually going to give me the option here. You can hear me pressing X to actually draft the player. So what I have to do, back out of the file real quick. Again, I have to be on an alternate account, can't be the owner of the franchise file. Hop back in real quick, super quick and easy process, especially with the PS5 now and how quickly on next gen this works. And then I can go in and I can make my pick nice and easy for this team. So really nice that they fixed this. I don't know if this technically is a fix. I don't know if they patched this into the game at some point. I don't know if this is, I should preface this by saying, I don't know if I should, I don't know if this is specifically designated for the PS5. And yeah, shout out to Diamond King 5923. Go check out his YouTube channel. He's the one that, essentially found this out because we were in the franchise file together trying to do a new league, and he was jumping from team to team, and I was like, how are you doing this? I never knew that this was even possible because, before, the way it used to be, if you tried to jump onto a team whose pick it was, it auto-picked for them or created some type of issue where you couldn't pick the player for them. But you can do it now. So to cut this video a little bit shorter, not keep rambling on here for you guys, I hope that this helps you guys. I hope that this helps make your franchises more realistic, makes them more immersive, allows you to pick the correct players for CPU teams in order to make, especially the first round, that's where it really matters. Make sure those like top 5, top 10 picks are accurate. Teams get players that they could actually use instead of drafting a player that's going to sit on their bench or something like that. Hopefully this helps you guys. If it does help you out in any way whatsoever, gives you an idea or anything like that, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new, comment down below with what you guys would like to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.